Hi, welcome to section 2 video. In section 1 video we have seen some of the basic details, concepts of MVC, entity framework and JQGrid related technologies, what we are using and why we gonna use or what are the advantages of using these technologies. The section 1 is basically the theoretical concepts as I said. Now let's move on to section 2. Okay. Now this section 2 deals with practical implementation of step-by-step procedure to create this simple to-do list web application using MVC-4 code first entity framework and JQGrid technology. Okay, now let's open a Visual Studio. We shall create a new project. Give the name of the project. And click on OK. Now let us select the project template as internet application. Let's develop internet of application and let's go with Razor View engine. And currently the unit testing is not required, so no need to check this. So click on OK. Okay, now let's open a layout page to do some minor modifications. Let's give the title as TodoList application. And let's create one more tab for moving to the to-do list application. Let's give the description as to-do list. And let's give the controller name and the view name. So for controller and view has not been created, but let us create in further. So let's run the application and see. The new tab should be added. So let's go to to-do list tab and click on it. So the resource cannot be found since we have not added the controller and the view, so it is displaying an error. Okay, so far we have created one tab for to-do list. Okay, now first since we are using entity framework, so let us install the entity framework. Okay, we are using an entity framework 5. So go to tools, library package manager and open package manager console. Okay, now let's give this command line and install the entity framework 5. Actually entity framework 5 is already installed in my solution. So now let's also we are using JQGrid. So now let's install the next step let us install the JQGrid through NuGet package manager. So search for JQGrid in NuGet package manager and select jQuery.jqgrid. This is the version which we are using. So click on install. This will install JQGrid for you. So JQGrid will be automatically installed and add it into the solution using. So this is the advantage of using NuGet package manager. We no need to manually add all the required DLLs. This NuGet package manager will automatically add all this required references for us. As you can see here, JQGrid min.js, these are the files which got automatically added. Okay, so currently we have installed entity framework 5 and JQGrid is also been added. So now let's start with proceed further. So first let us add the model first. Okay, So whenever we are creating a MVC application, we have to, when we are going with code first, we have to create a model, and let us add one model class. Let us give the name of the class as TodoList. As I explained in my previous video, this is the model we are adding. So model mainly contains a set of C# classes, and in this C# classes all the set of properties will be defined, and also we can define validations on top of these properties. So basically this contains a set of properties. Okay, this is the model which we are. Let's create one property for id, integer id, one more property for task name, and for task description. Also let us give the target date, by when it should be finished. The task should be finished at which date, target date. Let us also give severity to this. And last task status, whether it is active or inactive. So finally we have created now we have created a model with one class which contains all the set of properties, and so far we have not added any validations. Validations will be added, we shall see further on further. So now we have created one model. So now we are not worried about how about the database or tables, how to create a table. So we are concentrating more towards the domain, and also we are using code first approach. So first we have created one model class, and inside this class we have given all the properties. So now next step is we have to create a DB context. Okay, so what is DB context? This DB context will provide a layer of abstraction. It provides a layer of abstraction between the application layer and the database layer. Okay, so let us create one more folder for adding a DB context. DB context, and add a one. Let us add one class file to this, to do context. So for our application side, this to do context will be the name of the database. Okay, this is like name of the database from the application side which we are using. Now inside this DB context we have to inherit this to DB context. Okay, DB context, B should be small letter. Okay, this is, you have to add this namespace, and so far we have created one model. So let us build this solution for one time, so that whatever the model that got created will be available in this context class. So let us add one DB set. Okay, this model needs to be added for to do list, and let's give to do list. It's a pluralized form. So whenever entity framework is going to create a database, it will create with one table to do list. So far we have added only one model, so only one DB set is present, so only one table will be created in the database. Okay, so far we have added one model and one to do context. So this is just like a name of the database. To do context will be the name of the database from the application side, and to do list is the name of the table. Like it's to do list is it's in the pluralized form. Okay, next thing is we need to modify the same things in the connection string of web.config. Like we are using the different let's write our own connection string, so that it is pointing to the local, and so here the name of the connection string should be the name of the context name which we have already defined. This should be the same, so that in the database it will create okay, this is a to do context, and we are using let us use local TV, and initial catalog is the name of the database. So let us give the name of the database like to do list demo. Okay, so attach file, guess this is not required, can remove it. Okay, so we have defined the connection string in the web.config. Okay, so next step is to create this database. With the help of entity framework we need to create the database. Okay, let's open the SQL server. We can see that we want to create a to do list demo database, but currently there is no to do list demo database. So entity framework will create this for you. Okay, so next step is we have to enable the migration for using the code first. Since we are following the code first code migrations approach, so we have to go to package manager and we have to enable the migrations. Okay, so first step is to enable migration. We have to run this command in the package manager console. So enable migration, and minus context type name is we are giving the to do context which we have created. So we have to enable this migration. So let's execute this command. So code first migrations has been enabled right now. Now next step is we have to add the migration for this, so that whatever the model we have added, so that it will execute as a SQL command and create the database for us. So next we have to execute add migration command. Now let's give the name of the migration as let us give initial setup. Okay, so by this it has generated the migration file for us. So this is the migration file, and it is telling that create a table with to do list name and following are the fields which we are using. Okay, so primary key would be by default ID. Okay, so it has generated the migration file for us, but still in the database no database would be created, because unless you can see still no database has been created, to do list demo database is not yet created. So for to create this database we have to update the database. Okay, we have to give update database command. So this will execute the, so after giving update database command, this will execute the generated migration file, and this will execute the SQL commands which are present in the generated migration file. So let us give update database and enter. So it will be seeding this method. So now if you open the database, and you should be able to see database has been created. So new database to do list demo has been created with one table to do list. So far we have seen how the entity framework is going to create a database and table for us using this code first migration approach. Okay, so the first step is we have to enable the migration. After enabling the migration, we have to add the migration for it, so that it will generate the migration file for us whenever there is a change in whenever there is a change in the model, where that schema has to be, database schema also needs to be changed, so that because of that we need to add one migration. We have added one migration because this is the initial setup migration, add migration, and the migration got generated with for create table, because this is a new model which we have added. So finally, after adding migration, the migration file generated, and finally we have updated the database. So after updating the database got created automatically, and the table also got created automatically. So this is about some entity framework what we have seen. So now let's move on to further, now we need to create a controller. Let's create a controller, to do list controller to this. Since in the tab while creating in a layout page, we have given a controller as to do list, we shall give the same name, to do list controller. Let us go with empty MVC controller and click on add. Now, so controller got created. This is the action method which is present in this controller, index action method. So now let us add a view to this index method. Let us add an index view only. Okay, view. So view has been added. Let us give the heading as to do list. Let us give one div tag, and since we are using JQGrid, we have to create one table for it. ID is equal to list grid. Let us give the table name, and also let us give one div for pagination. Okay, so now we created one controller, and for this controller one action method is there. So for this action method, index view has been added, and we have created one table for JQGrid. We have specified ID, and this div is for paging functionality. Let us also add one JavaScript file for writing the JQGrid related code from the client side. Let's give a to-do list name for this JavaScript file. I am adding this. This is a JQGrid code from the JavaScript side. So this is a $ready function, jQuery ready function. So inside this I am adding JQGrid method. So inside this JQGrid method, I am setting, these are the following options which I have set inside this JQGrid JQGrid method. So URL, this is the URL which given, like this is the particular controller and action method. This is the controller and action method. This specifies where the data we are gonna get it from the server side. Since JQGrid is a client side, so URL specifies the action method where we're gonna get our post data from the server side. Okay, data type is given JSON. This tells us what is the expected what kind of data type which the JQGrid is going to expect, whether it's a JSON or XML, like that. M type property tells that this whether it is a get method or post method. Get HTTP, or it tells whether it is a get or post method. Okay, so this is a column names with the array. So this specifies, this column name specifies what is the columns which will be present in the name of the columns which will be present in the JQGrid. So coming to column model, so this column model specifies the actual data which we will be getting from the controller. So this column model contains like name and index. So this index is mainly for sorting mechanisms which we will be using. So and also we are setting one properties like editable, whether it should be true or false, whether it should be editable or not, and also like so we are using name as a task name. This is the ID which is hidden because this is a primary key. This one we should not give, so it will be automatically taken. And this is the task name and task description, and we have given target date. So as I said, we are using formatter for this date, so we have to use in such a format. We can also add a date picker to this, and this severity we are using one drop down for severity, whether it's a low or medium or high related values, so we can select accordingly. And also task status, active or inactive, and this is a for pager functionality. And this row num property is we have set it to 10, so that it will display 10 records in the page. And row list, this is the drop down pager drop down which we get, whether we can select it gives option whether we can, if we want to select 20 records or 30 records or 40 records. And this is some CSS design related things. And this is the JSON reader property. So this I'll be explaining further after writing the controller action method. Okay, some error is there. Okay, I just rectified it. So next thing is we have to add a particular get to do list action method in the controller, and get the following details from the server side. Okay, so let's go to to do controller and add this code. Okay, you have to add this namespace. Okay, so this is the action method which I have added. So to do context, we have to create the instance. DB is the instance of this database, so that we can get the data from the database. Okay, so we have created this, and get to do list is the action method which is gonna return all the data, to do list data to the JS. As you can see, this get to do list is the action method and to do list is the controller. So this JQGrid is going to get all this data from this controller action method. Okay, what I have did is this is related to paging functionalities and sorting mechanism. These are related to paging functionalities and sorting mechanism which we have added. So what I did is through database db dot to do list is the name of the table. So inside this table we are selecting all the data related to particular columns. So we are getting all the related data and storing in to do list results. Okay, so now after this we are returning this to do list results in the JSON format. So we have created one JSON data. So we have returning this in the JSON format. So total pages, and this is a page, and this is the records, total records. Rows will contain the to-do list result. So accordingly, in this JS file, you can see this JSON reader will find all the data from root rows like this. So it will get all the required data from the controller side and show it in the JQGrid. So now let us run this application once and see how it is looking. Okay, let's put the debugger here. One more important thing which we forgot is we have to add this JQGrid related references in the index page. Okay, let's open an index view page and add the JQGrid and jQuery references to it. So here I am going to add all the references. This is for CSS things, CSS related things, jQuery CSS and JQGrid CSS, and this one is we have to follow. We have to add it in the similar order only. So first jQuery script should be present, and then jQuery UI related things if you want, and also then this is for this is JQGrid related. This is JQGrid related scripts which we gonna refer for JQGrid, and this is the TodoList.js file which we have added the JQGrid functionality. Okay, so we have added this, and now let's see. Let's open TodoList page. Okay, there is some error. So it is taking index/TodoList. So let us go to the layout page and correct it. So this should be the index which is the view, and this should be the controller. Okay, so we have made the mistake. So I have made the mistake, so I have rectified this. So this is the index name, this is the view page, and this is the controller which we are using. Now let's refresh and see. So now click on TodoList. Okay, we have to refresh. Let's click on TodoList. We are getting this error because there may be jQuery is got referenced twice, so there is some issue. So this is because in layout page jQuery is in layout page also that jQuery is referenced. So for time being this is the one. So let us remove this because of there is some conflict due to this. So let us remove this and check this should be solved. Okay, there is some issue, I guess. The ID which we have given for the JQGrid is wrong. As we can see in the index page, we have given the table ID as list grid. So let us replace this ID and see it. Okay, now let us refresh and see. Yeah. So here first it will trigger here in the document.ready function. So it will go to this particular controller and action method. So to this action method, and here you can see that db.todolist TodoList is the table name where we're gonna get all the data from this to-do list, and we are selecting the required properties which we need to display it in the JQGrid. So to-do list results, all the data will be present in this variable. So but in the currently, since we have not inserted any data, so there should be no data on this. So and also you can see that sorting mechanism has been implemented here, and finally we are creating a new JSON data, and returning whatever the data we have to the JQGrid in the JSON format. Okay, you can see this. I'll click on F5. So we can see this. This is the this is a JQGrid. We can see now this is a JQGrid, and since there is no data to display, it is showing empty, no records to display since there is no data. So this is about the to-do list which we have created so far. But in this JQGrid you can see that there are no CRUD operations has been implemented. See, you can see in the page navigation taskbar there is no CRUD operations has been implemented. So now next step is we have to implement the CRUD operations, like if you want to create a task and update a task and delete a task, we have to implement the CRUD operations. So now I'm adding a NavGrid functionality to this JQGrid. You can see for this JQGrid I'm adding this is a NavGrid property to this JQGrid I have been added. This has to be this will be coming in the pager. I'm giving the pager navigational div. So I've given the pager. So all this CRUD operations will be coming in this pager div. So I'm setting this property. We are setting edit to true and add to true, because we want to. This is for adding and this is for updating, and this is for deleting. We are setting it to true, and we are not performing such functionality right now. And finally, this is for refresh. Okay, so this one we have added. So next we have set edit property to true, and we have to add the following code for this is for the edit functionality which we have added in JS file. And also we are giving the URL. This URL is basically for editing, like if you are editing certain row, so this has to be updated to particular so this updation has to be handled from the server side. So this edit is an action method which is handling this updation thing. You can see I'm adding this following code in the controller side. So I'm adding the following namespace also. You can see, as I said in JS file, this is the action method. Edit is the action method which will be called from the controller, TodoList controller. So you can see I've written given one edit action method. So what this edit action method do is it will take the object whenever if we are doing edit functionality. So it will check if a model state is valid. If all the model validations are valid, then it will check for the entity state. Okay, so if the entity state is modified, then it will generate one update query. Okay, so it will after executing this db.say changes, it will execute that update query, generated update query in the SQL Server database, and updation will be done for you. This is about the edit functionality. And next thing is this is for adding options. So whenever now if you want to add any the new task, so it will be creating calling to this create action method. You can see this is for add functionality we have given in JS file. So this will call this create action method. So let us see what is present in this create action method. In this create functionality, we can see that it is going to take this to-do list. This is the object. Whatever the inserted data from the JQGrid, this will come to this action method. We are excluding this ID because we are not adding any ID. Because this is a primary key, and this will be added by SQL Server itself. So I'm excluding this ID. So first it will check for the model state, whether all the validation has been done properly. Then finally it will add this whatever the inserted data. So it will add this to the table. So basically here what it does is it will generate the insert query, and this insert query will be run in the SQL server once the db.savechanges method is being called. And this is about the create method. So next we shall see the last one is a deletion method. So this is for deletion method. We can see we are checking one message is given, are you sure you want to, this is a warning message before deleting the task we have given. And also for deleting functionality from the controller side, we are calling this delete is the action method. So when you see in the controller, you can see that this is a delete functionality. So basically you will find based on the particular ID, whatever which you want to delete, you will find this particular ID, and you will remove it from the you will remove that particular row from the table and execute db.savechanges. Now let us execute and see how it works practically. Okay. Let's click on TodoList. So it will come here. So no records will be displayed because we have not added any records. So now you can see this inside in this pager div, the following buttons has been added. This is for adding new row, this is for editing the row, and this is for deleting, and this is for refreshing. Okay, so now let us add one task for this. So let us give some task test, task demo, and target date, and let us select some severity and task statuses, task active. Okay, let us also put the debugger and see what it is coming. So basically on click of submit, it should come to this particular action method, because for creation we have we have specified this is the action method which we have specified for creating. Okay, so we can see in this object what it will be containing all the data which we have inserted, and also you can see ID will be 0 because it's not it's not the one which we provided. It's a primary key which database will take care of it. Okay, so all these things has been present. So now it will check for model state validations. If all the validations are valid, then it will execute further, otherwise it will go to else statement, and finally it will add. Till now it would have generated insert query. Now after executing this, the insert query will be executed successfully, and we will get the message saved successfully. Okay, and again, so you can see this saved successfully. You can see in the JQGrid the task has been added successfully. Okay, now let us add some more task into this. Task 2, task demo 2, target date let us give as 12/02/2015, and severity let us select low itself. Submit. Okay, inserted successfully. Now let us see how do we want to update the records. Let us put some the debugger here. Okay, now let us modify this task 2 to task demo 2. We have selected the row, and I am modifying this task 2 to task demo task updated. Let me give task updated, and also we shall give 2016. Let us give 2016 and click on submit. So here you can see in this basically in this object you can see this is the where we can see the updated details here. So once it comes to this particular action method, it will check whether all the model validations are fine, and then it will check the entity status, or whatever the entity which we have modified or not. If it is not modified, then it will not save any changes. or else it will generate the update statements automatically and it will execute this. Okay, saved successfully. So now you can see that task got updated, task updated 2, and date also got changed. Now let us see the deletion also. Let us put the debugger in the delete action method. So let us delete this, click on this. So we are getting one confirmation message. Are you sure you want to delete this task? Yes, delete it. So I'm getting the ID. So based on this ID, it will find that particular ID and it will remove this successfully. So you can see that task got deleted successfully. So this is about the simple to-do list applications that I have created using ASP.NET MVC, Entity Framework Code First approach, and JQGrid related things. So the basic thing what I wanted to show in this application is I just wanted to show how we can merge all, we can use all of these technologies like MVC, Entity Framework, and JQGrid, and what are the advantages of using this, and how can we develop an application using these technologies. So I guess you have enjoyed my videos. Thank you all. Thank you for watching my videos. Bye.